can pick up sound from here. So this is rolling? This is going to be in it also. I don't give a shit. Hello, my name is Reed Charles, and welcome to Losers Talking to Losers.
I dropped my wallet.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Luis Olmeda. I'm not a loser.
He's a host loser. That's true. And
the name is
Aaron
Quinn Haskins. And
do it again because he's making noise with his chair.
Aaron Quinn Haskins, and I was born to lose, baby. Born to win.
So no. I asked the questions here.
You gotta edit. You can both ask questions. Come on. You both have.
No. It's all in here.
You both ask questions. Right, what is he doing here if he's not asking me questions?
Go ahead, ask the first question.
Well, you need to edit this, dude. Seriously.
No, I'm not editing shit. The reason for this show is basically, it's called Losers Talking to Losers, is basically to interview extras, because we've all been an extra. We all act. We've actually all somewhat directed. Not somewhat directed, you guys have directed. And pros. And I'm not sure for pros and anything, but the idea is to...
You're all getting paid something.
When you get paid for it, then you're a pro. So the idea is basically to ask these, to hear the behind the scenes of these losers who didn't make it or that are trying to make it. But a lot of us have real jobs. We have mortgages, we have rent, we have bills, and we're just trying to live the dream. And when you're at the bottom of the barrel, a loser, the only way is up, right? So
yeah. the whole thing is I mean, so many people have come and gone, but because people who enjoy the art so much are going to stick with it and have a regular job. And one of those artists is Aaron Quinn Haskins. So,
the one and only, baby. Luis.
Your full name, Aaron Quinn Haskins.
Aaron Quinn Haskins, the one and only.
Is that your real name?
That is my real name.
Quinn, really?
It's my God-given Christian/pagan name. Yeah. My full name. I have 3 names. I choose to use them all. Aaron Quinn Haskins.
Snipers, people that kill people have 3 names too.
Yeah. Well, I got something in common with murderers. Then.
So tell us where you're from. A little bit of history, schooling, and life.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I am originally from Illinois by way of Alabama. You could say I'm a high school dropout. I've been on my own since I was 16. Not that I had the roughest childhood in the world, but I've been on my own since I was 16. I got my GED when I was 16. I ended up going to college when I was 24. I was at the University of Alabama, where I studied telecommunications, film, and creative writing. And hence I wait tables and bartend for a living for the most part. But yeah, so out there in Alabama, I studied under Aaron Greer and Tom Sharonis, most famous for directing 80% of the Seinfeld episodes.
Oh, wow.
Until what's-his-nuts kicked him out and took over, the guy from...
David...
Yeah, he was that show...
Yeah. Oh.
On HBO.
Bald-headed?
Yeah, the bald-headed guy. He's basically the old Jerry Seinfeld, yeah.
So what was your first, spark of what started this whole fiasco for you?
For film?
Yeah. Well, they started in Illinois. How long did you live?
Yeah, when I was in Illinois until I was in. My dad moved to Alabama. My dad and my stepmom moved to Alabama when I was in junior high, and at that point I would go back and forth. The whole thing started, I've always loved movies. I remember I got taken to see Empire Strikes Back in the theater, and I was pretty young, but it blew my mind. And I saw E.T., Karate Kid. These are some of the first movies I saw. I loved them. I never really realized that I could make a living doing it until I got into about 7th grade. You have this revelation that, you could, get paid doing this like a job. Somebody didn't just lay an egg and there was a movie, there's all this people and collaboration go into this. I was always fascinated with that. But in 7th grade, me and my friend Zach Bogner out there in Illinois, we would save lunch money.
Hey.
we'd save our lunch.
No, when you move the chair, fucking pick it up, okay? And stop making noise.
I lost a finger that way, you know. Anyway, so.
Yeah, he screwed up his rhythm, didn't he?
Stop talking.
Jesus. It's a professionalism.
Back to.
So yeah, we would save up our lunch money and our allowance, and we go rent a video camera like every weekend. And I go stay the night with him. We go over to the video store, we rent a video camera. We'd shoot these crappy movies, basically rip-offs of like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, an amalgamation of them, Nightmare on Mercury Lane or whatever. And we would make these like crappy rip-off versions. We edit them like in camera, VCR to VCR. That's where it really started. Like I said, I didn't. I went to college. I started college when I was around 24, and I got into the University of Alabama, and I started making films a little bit more seriously, I guess. Then I got dibs on running the equipment room out there. It was one of my jobs, so I had dibs on all the equipment from boom mics, light kits, cameras, and not only did I make a lot of movies for class, I did a lot of, there's a place out there in Alabama based out of Birmingham. It's the Sidewalk Moving Image Association. They started the first ever Alabama film festival. Shortly thereafter, they started doing these 48-hour film competitions. They would do them 3 times a year, and the first time I did one, it was with this group. We called ourselves the Alabama Film Club. But the second time I did it, I ended up winning an award. There were 3 awards that you could get, and one was Best in Show. Now this was a celebrity, quote-unquote, like jury decided. There was Audience Choice, which is obviously ballot, but the other celebrity judge thing was the best use of inspiration items, and that was the award that we won, and I went on to win it a couple more times after that. But that was really inspiring, like winning that first award, and that's kind of really what made me like go on, because we did our movies based on the stuff that they gave us. So the concept was you would go in on a Friday night, and every team would bring a prop, and then you would draw numbers. You get somebody else's. I mean, there was like that 1%, one in however many teams chance you could get your own prop, but you would get the prop, and they would have other things like character names or like themes, motifs, etc., 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 that you had to incorporate in your film. And there were a lot of professional like companies, and you could tell like even them, they would like cheat, for lack of better words, because they would just take all that stuff and put it into one scene, one shot, just like cram it in, like force it in there.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Whereas me and my team would base everything we did like around the stuff that they gave us. Yeah. So like everything was like organically connected, like the story would unfold out of all these things. Anyway, so that was very inspiring, and it like kept me going to this very day.
So that was your first like.
That was in 2004 July.
2004?
Yeah, it was when I won my first award.
So you did it for a couple of years. You've been playing around.
I started college when I was in 2002. I would fuck around in junior high and high school with the video camera.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been on my own since I was 16. I kind of didn't do much after that. A lot of hopping around, a lot of sleeping on friends' couches, a lot of, wandering the earth. And I ended up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I met my then girlfriend, now ex-wife, who talked me into going to. She brought home the college application and all that, so wow. I applied and I got in, and
so would you say also that you're kind of like you're actually your own schooling, your own training of films training was kind of life experience a little bit?
Sure, yeah.
And then going into doing this and winning the competition, kind of like your first like. Damn, my
second time I ever entered a film competition, I won the best use of inspiration, which was $400, a trophy and a certificate of coolness, of which I still have the certificate of coolness hanging up in my bedroom. But the trophy I gave to the guy that helped me write it. And it was an interesting thing with that one, because it kind of wrote itself. So we'd have to drive all the way from Tuscaloosa to Birmingham, which is like a 45-minute drive to the kickoff, and then we had to drive 45 minutes back. So we phone text back to a group of writers, the other members of the team, in that instance, like what our inspiration items were. And it was interesting because as soon as we got back there, we had both, like on the way there, we had written this thing, and then when we got there, they had written this thing, and it was pretty much the same thing.
Oh shit! Okay.
Like more or less. So I don't know. It's an interesting collaborative thing, and sort of wrote itself like it wanted to be. Does that make sense?
Man. No, it organically happened. Yeah. So after that, because I remember when I first met you.
Yeah, we met. We met at Public Access. Yeah. I met you both there. We were doing the Cyborg Sam show here in Austin, Texas, and I had just transplanted here. Actually, I was working at KTBC at the time, and I had met him. I had met Cyborg at a show. And he had this Sony PD-150, and he was trying to shoot this band, and he kind of looked like he didn't really know what he was doing. But that was like the main cameras we had in our equipment room, so I was like very familiar expert, if you will, at this. And I was like telling him, I'm like, no, dude, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. He's like, how do you know this? He's like, oh, I went to film school. He's like, oh, well, I have a show, you should come on it. So I did, and that's where I met you.
Wow.
And then that's where I met you as well. Technically, for the first time, we didn't really talk much. You seemed kind of stuck up at the time, but I was
that was another Mexican.
He's not Mexican. He's Puerto Rican.
They all look the same. No, it was Mario.
I'm pretty sure you were there.
No, Mario Morales.
Okay, well, I met you. Yeah. And then we decided to do. I had written a radio play in college.
That's the one.
And it was called Jollies.
That's the one.
I hadn't made anything. I had lived here for, I don't know, a year or so, and I hadn't really made anything, and I was really just like, okay, what the hell am I? Because I had been working at KTVC doing promos and stuff, and I was kind of getting my, I was just being lame and being married and doing my job, and it was sort of like I got to make little movies because I was doing promos for the Good Day Austin show, which was fun.
Wow,
because it was like doing little comedy bits, Zach's Weather Kids, It was a morning show, so you could be a little bit more goofy and creative as opposed to if you were like doing
Yeah, because what channel was
6
that?
o'clock. That was KTBC. That's a local Fox affiliate.
Yeah, I remember that. You were doing it for a couple of years.
Yeah, I did that for 3 years, and then I got laid off, and then my wife left me.
For a man with a bigger penis.
And I kind of went into a depression after that too for a couple of years. Didn't really do much. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into it, but.
I don't want to go negative. You don't want to go negative.
I didn't know it was that close.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
No, he wasn't. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point is.
What brought you to Austin?
Brought me to Austin is I had come to visit with my then girlfriend, now ex-wife, and I visited and I fell in love with her. Spiritually, I never left. So as soon as I graduated, came back like a year later. I got a job out at KTBC, like I said, and then about a year went by. I hadn't done anything, and. That was in 2007, beginning of 2007 is when I got to Austin, and I hadn't done anything in about over a year, and then I had met, I went on the Cyborg Sam show, I met you, I did this radio play called Jollies in college, and then I adapted it into a screenplay, and then that's when you introduced me to him. He came over, and he ripped my screenplay apart, ripped out a new asshole, and we went through it, and we wrote it a couple times. And then we went and shot it on the alley behind 6th Street. We shot it in about 6 hours. I think it was a decent script. Y'all did a very fine acting job, although the guy that shot it.
Julian so-and-so is an excellent cinematographer.
And,
that's the thing I want to talk about too. Was there's certain things you don't want to talk about. You don't have to talk about them.
Whatever,
if you're not afraid of burning bridges, or
you already said his name.
I know that, but I'm saying
No, he was a good guy and he had lots of enthusiasm, and I thought because he shot for the news that he would have some idea, but
you work with him.
The idea of the axis of action and the 180 rule and the blah 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 was completely lost on him. So I had a bunch of random shots that could not be edited together very well. So it was this very choppy, jarring thing that me and Brian Loki managed to scrape together as best we could. And again, I thought all the acting was great, and even the shots were cool, but it wasn't shot professionally, to where you could edit seamlessly. And a lot of people thought we did it on purpose, and they're like, oh, that's kind of cool how you did that.
Oh, you shot it shitty, that's really good.
No, we didn't do it on purpose. We just did the best we could with what we had, which is what all you can do, really. And I didn't have a monitor, I didn't have any of that. After that, it went a while again before we shot anything. I think there was one, right after my wife left me, we did that movie Ball over at your house.
Oh yeah.
That was on a Halloween, just for something to do. And then,
so it seems to be kind of
there was Mighty Men, and then the Big D, and then...
Yeah, the Big D, I love the Big D. That's not gay talk. No. But I think that there's...
Don't tell it to me, tell it to them.
It's not a gay thing, it means the Driscoll. We shot it at the Driscoll where I work, where I...
So it's like you know, I think it's what I see also a lot of filmmakers that it's seasonal. It's seasonal, right? Which you. It's like seasonal, right? Because you do something, and all of a sudden there's a dry spell for a long time, for a year or two, and then you come back in and they're doing it again.
And well, you know, and that's what I get down on myself the most about, honestly, because I have all these ideas, I have all this potential, all this energy, and I don't live up to it. And that's when I get, you know, like, I don't want to sound jaded or anything. I mean this in the most liberating way possible, but like, after my divorce, after your wife, you know, leaves you for another man and blah, blah, blah.
You don't want me to bring it up, right? But he keeps on bringing it up.
No, I'll bring it up.
Isn't that something?
No, it's fine.
No.
So, hey.
You know how many times he mentioned his ex-wife?
That's fine. Stop talking over him.
It was a very traumatizing experience. Anyway, but the point is, I forget what the point is, because you distracted me, Luis.
I distracted you?
The point is...
It's not about you, Luis. Maybe next time, but not right now.
After the divorce, the point is, after the divorce, I realized that I was the only one that I could depend on to make myself happy, to get anything done. I don't mean that in a jaded way. I mean that in the most liberating way possible.
Yeah.
You are the only one that you can count on, and that's why I don't get disappointed. I don't expect anything from anybody except for myself. And I've disappointed myself. I did. After the divorce, I went into like a 2-year kind of drunken depression, stupor, picking up floozies left and right, trying to make myself feel better, but actually just really making myself worse. Hey, dude, I laid off a lot.
You gonna drink that?
I am gonna.
Oh yeah, of course. He's talking about his ex-wife right now. He's feeling kind of down.
Because there was
I'm not down. I'm so happy. I got a new lady.
What?
She's a gem.
Yeah, she is good.
She's amazing. She's helped me a lot, and just watching her, she's a mover and a shaker.
Yeah, she is.
And you know, she runs her own booking agency. She manages a bunch of local bands around here, really popular bands. They're going to be even more popular. And I sit there and I watch her on her laptop and on her phone, like getting shit done. And it's like actually pretty inspiring and even educational.
Damn.
Not only that, she directly, you know, helped me like with the thing that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
We're in pre-production for now. A Little Hot Apocalypse. You know, she helped me tweak the script, and you know, she's helping me find locations. She's
a positive influence.
She's definitely a positive influence.
Yeah, I think that's
for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's good when you have somebody who they're not in competition with you. They actually inspire you. You inspire each other. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
and
that's the key to any good relationship, be it romantic or anything. You know, like the idea is that we all accept each other for who we are, while still inspiring each other to be better. You know, and you guys are definitely, you know, inspiring. Especially Luis over here doing scenes with Al Pacino and shit. That's pretty badass. But anyway.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So what else? What else did we talk about?
Because I remember when you started hanging around at Public Access with Sam's show. I remember you we got to see some of your stuff. I remember that one scene, that one short you had where you had the actors not even meet each other, and you spliced them to look at their. I thought they were in the same location.
Oh yeah, they weren't even there because that was again, that was a 40-hour film.
No, what was that called? What was that called?
That was called The Ruins.
The Ruins. It was a ruin, and it was what? It was a 48-hour.
It was a 40-hour film competition. I didn't lead that team that time. I just acted because I led teams a lot of times, but sometimes this other guy named Kevin Pinkerton, he's out in LA trying to make it right now. He's my boy, but that was a thing that he led. His team, I went by Neo Dada, was my team name, and he would help me out, and then other times I would help him out, and his team was called The Dog's Bollocks. And that was the time where I just got to show up on set and be an actor and just act like a fucking asshole and like a prima donna fuck, and it was awesome. It was pretty funny. And yeah, that was The Ruins, and yeah, we there was scheduling, like she had to work in the morning and I had to work that night, so like, you know, we had enough time to get like one wide angle, like long take with us together, but all of our close-ups,
that was pretty cool.
The other person wasn't even there for like half of it, like all the close-ups, like that intro part with all the close-ups.
The talking back and forth, I was like, holy shit!
I was talking to nobody.
Yeah, that was really neat.
And she was talking to nobody.
So you So you've been on. Let's go with the extra. I'm gonna talk about your life file of being an extra on films.
Okay,
which ones have you been on?
So back in Alabama, there was a movie by Tim Burton. It was called Big Fish, and I got to be an extra in that one. And then the next one was Talladega Nights. Those were my first two extra experiences. Talladega Nights was interesting. I got to wear an orange jumpsuit. I was a part of the pit crew, and that was like
Whose vehicle were you on?
I don't remember. I was just.
It wasn't the two main.
No. I was just there. I was at orange jumpsuit pit crew. I'm there, and it was like a thing where I was there for 12 hours a day for 3 days in a row, and like they hardly ever fed us, and like everybody was like pissed off, and it was like kind of ridiculous because you think like in a big budget Will Ferrell Hollywood movie that it would
really
have been but yeah, it was like. Everybody was pissed off because it was like, no, we weren't getting fed. We're standing there in the fucking hot sun on the asphalt at the actual Talladega Raceway there in Alabama, and that was pretty annoying. And then,
see, that's the kind of stuff I want to hear.
Yeah. That
no one ever hears about.
Yeah.
The extras were treated poorly.
They were. We were. We're standing there in the hot fucking summer Alabama, and the difference between Alabama and Texas here. Okay, so in Texas. Here in Austin, the sun is like 8 feet above your head, and it's just like, and it can be kind of oppressive. It can be, whatever. You go into the shade, it's magically like 10 degrees cooler. Like it really makes a difference here. Okay, the thing about Alabama is, the humidity is so bad. It's only 80 degrees, but like as soon as you walk outside, you're like, it feels like you just showered in sweat. Like 5 seconds. Like you just walk out on your porch, shut your door, lock it. You have a big sweat pit on your back. And it's so humid, you're in this orange jumpsuit, and you're like starving and you're thirsty. And not only did they not have food, but they were running low on like bottled water. They were keeping us out there. But we were all like so passionate and excited just to be a part of it that we were like putting up with it. But everybody was pretty pissed off. Wow. Which is like a complete contrast to Big Fish, where like everything, we were like well fed and everybody was like laughing on set. And it was like pretty cool. And that scene, I was part of the bank robbery scene with Steve Buscemi and Ewan McGregor. And I remember the funny story, we were well fed, well taken care of.
Was it a smaller? Was it smaller amount of extras?
Yeah, it was way smaller. And I remember.
That's fine.
I remember, the bank robbery scene, and like he's we're all laying on the ground, and like he tells him to like slide the gun across the floor, but it's made of rubber, so it wouldn't slide, and it was like this big problem. Everybody's laughing, and they actually had to go get like a real gun. They had to go like rent a real gun that would actually like slide across the floor for the shot.
So you weren't one of the bank robbers. You were one of the people at the lobby.
Yeah, no, I was just an extra there, like laying on the ground.
That's awesome.
During the robbery.
I had no idea. I didn't know. Yeah. Now, were both these films filmed in Alabama?
They were both filmed in Alabama. One was filmed in Talladega, Alabama. Obviously, Talladega Nights was filmed at Talladega Raceway in Talladega, Alabama, and then Auburn, Alabama. Fuck Auburn, by the way, but like War Eagle. I almost like watching Alabama, or I like watching Auburn lose as much as I like watching Alabama. Roll Tide. Anyway, that was in Auburn, Alabama, where they shot.
So they were able to fix the whole slide of the gun thing
by getting a real gun, because the rubber gun wouldn't slide across the tile floor. It was
dusty.
So then that was really my only extra work in Alabama, and it was paid. It was like $9 an hour, like both things. Moved to Texas, and then actually, like I remember, I got laid off from the TV station. At which point, my wife left me for another man, and then and then the next gig I got was as an extra on True Grit, the remake with Jeff Bridges and
Well, keep going.
Keep going.
How long did you notice when that went off?
I said it as soon as I saw it.
Oh, good, okay.
I'm
not sure why it did that.
Hey, I don't know either.
It's recording.
All right. So, and that's about the extent of my thing as an extra. Although I know you guys met.
No, it's not about us. It's about you.
It's always about me, baby.
It's always about you.
Always about me, baby.
So those are the few movies you've done as an extra.
Mm-hmm.
Acting you've done. We remember some of the acting you've done. So
Yeah.
some of like memorable moments when you were acting.
Well, I mean, like I said, I would. Back in college, I'd always write myself in. We did the movie Mighty Men. I wrote myself in. We didn't really have an official screenplay for that. It was just kind of like an outline that we whipped together, and I wrote myself in. You get to blow my head off in that scene. That was pretty great.
That was pretty.
I could give myself as many deaths as possible, because I heard once that that's every actor's dream, is to die a great death. So like I just like to give myself like just great deaths all the time, just to piss off every like real actor in the world. Like, but yeah, I wrote myself into that one. I wrote myself into just about everything. I mean, I wasn't in Jolly's like Although I was going to play that part myself. The same thing with the web series we're doing now. I was going to play it. We tried shooting it one time and then failed a couple summers ago.
Yeah, you want to talk about that or how?
No, yeah, that was a situation where.
No, this is part of your vampire.
It's a vampire web series. So we're in pre-production right now for my web series Aloha Apocalypse. It's about 3 of the last vampires on Earth that meet up in Austin, Texas during South by Southwest 9 days before the end of the world. It's a little bit of a misleading thing there, but that's the gist of it. There's a lot more going on, but think of it like this. There's going to be 14 episodes, each one 10 minutes long or less. I'm going to shoot one a month, one every other month until it's done. So it'll take me a little over a year to shoot them in chronological order. I guess it's a way for me to cheat at shooting a feature film. So when you watch it all back to back, it'll be like watching this weird, like, you know, episodic feature film, sort of. But that's what we're doing now. And I actually tried to shoot the first episode a little over a year ago. And I was playing the lead at the time, which I learned really quick that there was like a little too much to handle to be the director, the writer, the producer, and acting at the same time. But also, I was a little screwed over because we showed up to the set, which was you know, a bar where I had basically chopped my finger off on their bar stool one time, and I didn't sue them. And part of my payment was that I got to shoot a movie in there. So, but when I showed up at 8 in the morning with a full crew and cast, and like some of them being paid, I was supposed to be let in at 8, and they ended up not letting us in until after 11, almost noon. And when we finally got in there, they were doing a deep clean on the place. They had everything like pulled out. They're doing this deep clean. They had no idea, apparently, that I was supposed to be there. So we waited for them to get done with that. And then there was this whole thing where they weren't letting us behind the counter with the fucking camera. I had brought like 20 extras, all of which were paying for drinks. All of them were buying food. And there were 3 people there that I didn't bring. And they started complaining because I was asking them to be quiet so we could get audio, of which I would not have to have done had they let us in there on time before they opened. I could have, you know what I mean? Like, there's just one fiasco after another. And at some point, I just decided, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to do this somewhere else. And then, you know, a year and a half later, I'm finally figuring all that out. We're back with a vengeance, and we're going to get done. This time, though, I'm not playing the lead. I'm just acting in it. Although I did write myself a nice little part. Write myself a way smaller of a part. Just a couple scenes instead of carrying the whole damn movie. But yeah.
So those are the kind of things like damn it, you know, big, huge setbacks. You learn a lot from it.
Living, learning. That's not the, you know, yeah. I did learn a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about who my you know, friends were, and I learned a lot about organization and like other things like that, and getting things written down, and you know, doing things by the book, so to speak, you know, just. And that's not the first time I failed. One of the big failures I had was with you know, Brian Logie, the guy that edits most of our movies. Mm-hmm. Me and him back in Alabama tried to do this zombie musical, of which we shot. It was terrible, a terrible movie, poorly executed. We didn't get to finish it. Unfortunately, the guy that was playing the lead ended up dying.
What was his name?
His name was Randall. He was a tattoo artist from Atlanta. This guy was like almost 7 feet tall. At some point, he was in the world, the Guinness Book of World Records for most square, you know, inches tattooed on his body.
Oh, because of his size.
Yeah, from head to toe. Whoa. I think somebody's beat him since then, but you know, he ended up dying before we got to actually finish it. I mean, I think it was a great script. It had lots of great original music. It was very poorly executed, and we didn't get to finish it. That was one big failure, and that was right before I moved out to Austin.
Oh, it's getting hot.
Alcoholism is pretty much gone. I went from going out 5 nights a week and drinking my sorrows away to drinking.
It's rolling again, but
anyway.
it seems to be when it gets too hot, it shuts down.
It's because I'm too hot. I can't handle it.
We got too much stuff going on here.
No, we're leaving it there. No.
Hey man, I gotta stay hydrated.
Obstacles in life.
Yeah, so
you gonna drink that?
I am gonna drink it. Is that all right? Jesus,
I'm getting
trying to
thirsty.
loosen up here.
I'm getting thirsty now.
All right, everybody. We're back here on Losers Talking to Losers. Our guest today is Quinn Haskins. Let's give a big round of applause for Aaron Haskins, everybody. Say hi to the audience, Aaron Haskins. Hi, audience.
There are one viewer.
So speaking of that, though, like one thing that was I was inspired, like when I was, we were helping Cyborg out with a show there for a minute, and I got inspired. Like I was like, we should do a show. A variety show, if you will. Call it the ATX show, where it showcases, be a variety show. Think like Kids in the Hall meets Alfred Hitchcock Presents, hosted by yours truly. And it'd be a thing where you'd have local talent, be they comedians, comedy troupes, filmmakers, bands, etc. You make it kind of interesting, kind of like Dave Chappelle did. You have the bands playing in these like, weird spots that you normally wouldn't see like bands playing in. You'd show little short films, comedy bits, interviews at weird places like say Kirby Lane, local Austin places, and right, it's showcasing Austin talent. Since the ATX show, but it would also be a double pun for Aaron's television extravaganza. I think that would be pretty cool. Man, but it's been on the back burner for a while now.
Yeah, but man, seeing the way Sam, Cyborg Sam, and Salt Waters, Chocolate Blue, man, they ran that show like once a week to every live, right? It was live.
Yeah, they took phone calls and everything. My whole thing, it wouldn't really be live. It would be like
it'd have to be filmed because
it would be a pre-recorded thing, and I do it like once every other month or something.
Yes, exactly. You can't. I've seen these guys, and
they were pretty shoddy, pretty unprofessional. They didn't really know what they were doing. I mean, God bless their hearts, they're out there doing it.
No, they were doing it. I admired them for doing it, but Sam, what he did and stuff is just pretty funny and crazy. Scored. Ridiculous. But yeah, it's a lot harder. I learned something too, working for them, helping them out basically. But that was their transportation too. That's what kind of pissed me off. It's working. When you work, you pay them something, gas money, food, drinks, whatever
but it's
it is.
public television, right?
Yeah, they're not right.
It's public television.
But it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, here's what I've learned. Speaking of that,
everything's volunteer.
You get volunteers. I've been very lucky, despite as much of an asshole as I am. I've gotten very lucky to get people like you guys and others that like actually find me, can put up with my bullshit, and they like my ideas enough to where they want to come like help me out. And the thing is, if you're not paying somebody, you gotta at least feed them. You gotta keep them happy, dude. You gotta feed them. You gotta show them gratitude.
Charm the fuck out of them or something.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've definitely learned. Is if you keep them fed and happy, you buy them a few drinks after the, they're happy. And in the case of this, my web series I'm doing. I'm only paying a few people, I'm paying very minuscule novel fees to, the director of photography, to the special effects guy, and to a sound guy. Yeah, basically everybody else involved is doing it out of the kindness of their heart, and I plan to keep them well fed. I plan to buy a round of drinks for everybody afterwards, especially since we're shooting in a bar. Like so.
I want you to talk about
you guys are sharing lips, right?
Hey man.
You and your germ stuff.
It's not germ. It's just sharing lips.
But I think the cool it's only shot. The other shot guys I use for my cat to feed him. That's why I feed him. I give him a shot of food so I can keep after his weight.
So that people know they're sharing lips.
We're sharing lips.
Anyway.
But it's not gay. But don't break eye contact.
I think of all the stuff you've done that I've seen you do and seen. I think I was most impressed with the Big D. I was really? Yeah.
And that's interesting. Yeah. Because we shot that in 4 hours. Thing went off again.
No, it's good. Yeah, pick up with that. Let it shut down.
Things into perspective. Like I was feeling pretty down on myself, and I talked to him, and I was like, "Yeah, my life ain't so bad."
All right, here we go.
I know there was
So back to the Big D. The Big D was what we shot at the Driscoll. We shot it at the cafe and the bakery. I shot it in 4 hours. We just kind of winged it again. It was a thing where we didn't really have a screenplay. I just wrote down a very detailed outline and We all just kind of winged it. I did not act in that one. I ended up just directing that one. I had a pretty good cinematographer, Daniel something or other. He works for.
You remember his name?
He works for.
that good.
No, he works for. Daniel Gibb was his name.
There you go.
He works for C3 Productions. Last time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you know, this is the guy that usually gets paid $500 a day, but I had to connect because one of my cooks like grew up with the guy, so he showed up, and basically all I told him was like I want it to be like The Office, except service industry, and so he shot it very much like The Office. He did a pretty good job. I kind of just stayed behind the scenes and directed everybody, and we shot it in 4 hours. Which is pretty amazing. It was very thrilling. I love that shit, like the guerrilla style thing. I live for it. I love it.
It was like fast.
Yeah, and we put the least amount of effort. Probably had the most fun I've ever had, like the least amount of anxiety and the most fun I've ever had shooting that, and ended up winning me $400.
Yeah. Originally, what was it? What was the whole contest?
Well, it was work. It was a talent show. Like so, at the time, this company DH&R ran the Driscoll, and they used to know how to throw a party. So every holiday party, like after Christmas in January, they'd have a holiday party. And it would always have a different theme. Like so, one year it was masquerade, one year it was like prom, one year it was like the Roaring '20s, and this particular year it was a talent show. And the grand prize was like $400, and there were people like playing classical guitar. There was the security guy who was like karate chopping boards, and
he was doing that.
Yeah.
So laser?
And there was a girl. No, different guy.
Oh,
and then there was the girl doing hula hoops and everything, and we ended up winning it, and got the $400, and
Yeah, that was really because we filmed like 10 or 11.
You were in it.
Yeah,
you were the raw meat guy. You were Laser. It's pretty good. You can check it out at abotjob.com. That's a BOTCHJOB.com. You can check out Mighty Men or The Big D, among other things that we've done. But we haven't done anything in a while, and it's a fucking shame because we're all so goddamn talented and amazing. We should be doing shit like way more prolifically. And I like to use that excuse, for those couple of years where I wasn't doing anything. I was down on myself. But see, that's when I get down on myself, is when I'm not living up to my potential. And I have a lot of fucking potential. I have a lot of fucking ideas, as you guys know. I write all the time. And writing is a good gate, but it's not the same as writing's good. I've got so many things written, but it's not the same as when you actually go out there and you do it, man. It's all about doing it. Like, it's so fulfilling. Filmmaking is such a collaborative art form. It's almost, there's just such a creative exchange of energy. It's like more satisfying than sex, because you can go pick up some strange at a bar, and you'll be glowing for like a day, maybe 2. You're like, woo, yeah.
But this is forever.
But not only it's not forever, but just the satisfaction you give them, because it takes however long to shoot it, and then you're editing it, and then I'm not one of those people. You get you got those people that are like, oh, I don't like to watch the things that I do. I'm not one of those people. I'm like one of those people. Once I finish something, I'll watch it 100 to 400 times in a row, just jacking off to it the whole time. Yeah, I'm so great. I'm so great. It's so great because it's such a creative exchange of energy. You know what I mean? It's like it's so collaborative. So you go in there and you got.
That's disgusting.
Like, when I first started making films, like in college, I always felt like I was failing, because what was happening was not what I envisioned. And then we would get into the editing room and you start editing it together, and then you realize, wow, this is even better than like I was envisioning, which taught me a lot about you have to let everybody do their thing. Like you can't be I'm not a Kubrick or Alfred Hitchcock where I'm a complete control freak. I'm more of like, I look at the screenplay kind of like a jazz musician looks at sheet music. It's this guideline, like here's the progression. And then you get the freestyle. You got to let everybody do their thing around it, and it makes it better. It makes it more rich. It makes it more interesting. Like you got to let the actors, as long as the actors like y'all are getting the essence, like the overall spirit of what I was trying to get across. You can freestyle around it, because if an actor knows the script, not memorize the script, but knows the script, they can take the information and they can change it around and deliver it in certain ways. And like, for instance, on the Big D when he showed up. Not at all I didn't imagine. Not at all. But it was the most fucking hilarious fucking thing. I think we had to cut so many times just because I was laughing so hard, like at it. But
Oh, wasn't what you invented?
no, not at all.
Really?
No, but once you got the makeup on and the costume, like, because we had rehearsed once or twice, and like what you were doing was not at all like what you did once Ivar actually put you in the costume and the makeup. You just got this, it's like Jack Nicholson said, you gotta let the costume do the work, you know. And it was like that for me on Mighty Men. Like, I had some real suave, like slick idea for the voice and everything of what I was gonna do. And then as soon as Patti put that shirt on me and that necklace on me and that fake mustache and slicked my hair back, my voice went from being like this to, you tell her to get a, you know, you tell her to get a fat ass in the fucking runway, she can get him out. Just, I went way more Weasley with it. It was just like once I saw myself.
You look like a weasel.
Yeah, it like brought out just, it wasn't smooth, it was really slimy and weaselly.
Well, that's one thing I noticed about working with you was that you let, I guess really only ones you let us do this, but you kind of let us, because we both experienced it. You let us roll with it. We know you can rein us, and we'll like, I'm thinking outside the box. Well, yeah, what do we do this? And they're like, no, more of this. And you direct us, and we go with it from there. You know, we go
I kind of fine tune it. My idea is to let the people like go all out. Like, I want you to go like so overboard, just overboard, and then if I need to rein you in a little bit, or I need to tweak this, I need to tweak that, and then I will. I mean, that's my approach, is like let the people do what they're going to do. And that's not just the actors, that's the makeup people, that's the costume people, that's even the cinematographers. Now granted, that has blown up in my face a few times in the instance of Jollies with the cinematographer, like where I trusted the guy to just shoot me some good stuff. We didn't have a monitor. I was way more concentrated on your guys' like performance than I was on the camera angles, and that ended up blowing my face, and I learned a lot from that, as in I am gonna be more have a monitor and like know what the shit looks like. And that's why in this case for a Low Apocalypse I'm paying a professional, Scott McCulley, the total badass I saw was real, and I was like, okay, I want this guy. And we're you know, and here's another thing, we're doing test shots. You know, we figured out the mirror shot, like that was, we were way overthinking it. Remember, I was thinking about like doing like a green screen, and we would shoot the plate for the reflection in the mirror, and then I realized that was just like way overcomplicating. It was way more simple than that. It was like old magician like tricks, and it's all about the angles, and there's no green screen involved anymore. We sat in my garage, and we, you know,
in camera,
drank a few beers. We figured it out. Yeah, all in camera. Yeah. It's very simple, but at the same time, the audience is still going to be like, whoa. Because it's fucking with their perception of like space and time and where they're at, and it's all about this mirror. And then at some point the camera pulls out of the mirror, and you're like, holy shit, we were looking at a mirror the whole time. Like, instead, you know what I mean? Like, because you know, there's a play on it. There's vampires, there's reflections. Because my idea though is, right, in most vampire movies, vampires don't cast a reflection. Sure, right? But none of their clothes show up either somehow for some reason. I never understood that, right? So my thing, I wanted the clothes to show up, but not
their skin,
not the person.
Yeah.
Because why would the clothes not show up, right? Didn't make any sense to me. So we figured out how to do that, and it involves no green screen at all. It's actually really just about like angles and having, you know, there's like a dummy and like a stand-in and like the actor backs out. You know, like it's really just about the angles and everything. So
trickery of the camera.
Yeah, man. And we figured it out, and we're doing test shots, and like my special effects guy, there's a scene where, you know, the vampire, he rips off the bartender's jaw, rips it off, and his tongue's hanging out, he grabs his tongue, slams his head down on the table. Like, we've been doing test shots on that, you know what I mean? And he was even amazed. He's like, you know, because he's done a lot of good work. He's done a lot of mediocre work. I've watched a lot of the stuff he does. That's Jason Zentner. Yeah. Lucky to work with him. He was amazed. He's like, you were the first fucking director I've worked with that wanted to do test shots. Like, he's like, you know, and in some cases, you know, he worked with this one director, and he did a few little things, and they were so impressed they wanted to do this big thing. But no test shots, no nothing. He ended up not being able to do what they wanted in the time that was allotted. And he's saying if I would have had time, if we would have did test shots, we could have figured this all out beforehand. But no, it was like a thing where you just show up on set and try to figure it out. And it's like, I'm not making those mistakes, because we're also shooting in a bar somewhere where somebody's going to be kind to us. There's lots of blood spray, so we got to know where this blood is going. We got to know what's happening. We got to know, you know what I mean? It's got to be a very controlled thing so we can clean it up and like cover things up and yada yada yada. Anyway.
Damn. That's crazy.
So what else are we talking about today, Reed? What time is it? I do have to work today.
Yeah, it's almost time. Leave it
Oh, it's only 3
whenever you're
o'clock.
ready. Yeah,
It's
I
only
got
3
6.
o'clock.
I got 3:06.
Which one you have to, we'll have to,
I have to be at work at 4, but I can call him and tell him I'll be late.
wrap it.
But
Is that when you have
we
to
can
rush?
talk some more, man. We can talk for a few more minutes. What do you guys want to talk about?
I think most of the questions that I was curious about, I think they got answered. That,
Yeah.
Where you came from and where you went to school, and you live
University of Alabama, baby. Roll Tide.
That's
Roll Tide. So yeah, you know, I'm a transplant. I have not been living up to my potential, but I plan to live up to it now. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
But it seems like your life now is starting to kind of get more stable, and you're starting to go in that right direction.
yeah,
That's good.
you know, it was. It's been a rough.
But you know, that's
couple
what,
of years.
that's
I mean,
what,
it's just first world problems. The only thing that stops
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
is myself,
Yeah.
and once you realize that,
yeah.
you know, once you quit blaming other people
I think
and
that's the
other
thing.
things for your problems, once you realize that it's really just, you know, life is a state of mind. You know, imagination is reality's master. So why not imagine something nice? And that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, I like when you said like it's a first world problem. Like here we are complaining. Me, when more famous. Well, come on, fucking.
It's not about being famous. It's about the process.
No, it's not.
And it's my passion. It's what I want to
we're
do.
living life.
And if I don't do it, then I'm not feeling fulfilled and I'm not feeling happy. You know, like I try to have fun no matter what I'm doing.
But-
Like I wait tables.
But think how
And I have
crazy.
fun doing it.
Yes.
But
Think how crazy that is, though. Like the idea that, like, you know, because I know I'm a history buff. I love history, archaeology, genealogy, whatever it is.
this isn't
And
about you.
I know it ain't about
It's
me.
about me.
No, I'm saying, but what you're saying too, that there is, it's like we're at a point to where we're so fortunate. You're so fortunate. All of us are so fortunate that we're able to do this.
America.
Well, that we're able to do this. We're able to live comfortably and to be creative.
Yeah.
And I think
the only thing stopping us is ourselves.
Exactly.
I mean, and Luis here, he's way more prolific. He's over here, he's doing scenes with Al Pacino.
I know, man.
He's over here doing plays for his
That's
church.
awesome.
He's over here, you know.
And he's doing it too.
He's doing
like,
stuff.
yeah.
He's got Kickstarters. He's got things like, you know, and I'm over here, you know, if I put, that's the thing that I realized is like when I went through my divorce and I started partying and all this for too long, I realized
We're going back with the same shit again.
it was a really traumatizing experience.
But you have to go through shit. You know,
You
like
have
it's like
to
you're at the
fail.
bottom of the barrel. We're losers at the bottom of the barrel. The only way
You have
up,
to
the only
fail.
way is up.
Yeah.
You're gonna go down to the woods and start chewing on the wood. You know, you can't go any
you know
further
what they say
lower.
about rock bottom.
You can't go any lower.
It's lots of good footing to fucking climb
Yeah,
your
you
ass
gotta-
out of there.
Yeah. You know,
But-
I think that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
We got a good foundation. We got a good foundation.
You know?
Right, but that chapter has ended.
Yeah.
You have a new chapter.
That is
Yes.
a new chapter.
So your new chapter, new book actually, is with the woman you're with right now, and she's a big
Jesse's
plus.
awesome.
She's
She's
a
a
big
fucking
plus, not
danger.
only to you, in a professional life, but also socially.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So it's really.
No, and she's an amazing. She's a
you
gem.
got a little mini team there with you.
Yeah, she's a gem, and I've been sweet on her from the get go. Like,
She was telling me about
like
that. That was really
had
funny.
her. Like, I seriously for like 5 seconds, like I just. Who is that?
What the hell's that?
Just her scent alone, like it was very,
Dude,
very
that's
chemical, very like.
Caveman.
Yeah,
that's
it's very
awesome.
primal and very like.
You really
And I wooed her for 4 fucking years, man.
When I was down
I
with
wrote
your
her
audition tapes.
poems. I wrote, you know, like,
Yes,
I've
you
been
told me
waiting
all
for
that.
it.
And I was like,
She
you're
blew
the
me
one.
off. She blew me off. She blew me off until this past year, about 6 days after my birthday. All of a sudden, she calls me up. She's like, "Oh, I had a dream about you," which was a lie because I've used that line on girls before. But I got the point that she wanted to hang out, and she was like,
Why did she blow you off?
she just had no
told me.
interest, man.
Yeah,
She
you
just
know.
had. I mean, she thought I was sweet and she was nice to me and she'd invite me to her parties and all this, but I would like once a year or something, except for when I was, you know, I had a girlfriend for a while, Elizabeth, you know, I laid off, my head was up her ass there for about a year, but But yeah, so like,
Yeah, but you
I was
can
wooing her for a year. I would literally like send her poems, make her feel as uncomfortable as possible. I'd see her on.
Uncomfortable, like a stalker?
No, not stalker, but like I would post it on her Facebook, and really beautiful poems, really about how beautiful she was. And she would get all these likes from her friends, and but none from her. And I knew that it would make her like feel awkward, like, oh, this guy, he's sweet, but I'm not really attracted to him. But you gotta understand, when I met her, I had just gotten divorced, so she smelled this like wounded puppy thing on me. So until I like got my confidence back and like got my then all of a sudden she was like, you know, oh hey Aaron, hey, I think we should hang out. So yeah, about 6 days after
because of confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Women are attracted to genuine confidence.
Everybody's attracted to confidence.
No, everyone's there.
Everybody's attracted to confidence, unless you're one of those psychopaths that prey on insecure people.
That's not cool.
But
yeah, so that's the whole idea. I think that we all, I guess, ooze that a little bit, you know, like confidence. Like, no, we do this because we like it, we love it. But yeah, you gotta.
And that's what it boils down to. You know, we do this because we love it, because it's a calling for me. It's not. It's a very expensive hobby, but it's like a calling. It's something I have to do or I'm not happy. Like I haven't done anything in a year, with minus a few little comedy skits.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
So, if you have $5,000, can you make a feature film out of that?
Well, I probably could. I mean, I would sit down and like I'm one of the types to.
I mean, $5,000 is not a lot.
It's not a lot at all. But my budget for these Aloha Apocalypse things I'm doing, I've got a $2,000 budget set aside for the first. Every episode is the first 3 episodes are $2,000 a piece, of which I'm paying out of my own pocket for the first couple. And the idea is after that to try to get a fan base, like. You know, and you can do Kickstarter, you can do Indiegogo, you can even just have a YouTube channel with a PayPal thing, like donations. But you got to be creative about it, because if you get a fan base, you make it intriguing enough to where people want to. You get a fan base, even if it's just Austinites alone. Austin loves looking at itself.
Yeah.
Austin is not spoiled. There's other cities like New York loves themselves, but they're so spoiled. They see themselves so many times, like, oh hey, look, another movie with fucking New York in it. But Austin, for instance, you go to the movie Chef, you go to Death Proof. They show, you know, for instance, when I went to go see Death Proof, they show the Alamo Drafthouse Theater for like a second at the beginning montage. The fucking whole audience like stands up.
Anything that's going on.
And even in Chef, you know, and that was several years ago. But I went and saw Chef in the theater, and they showed Guero's and Home Slice and What's His Nuts and What's His Nuts playing in the background. The fucking whole audience was just like,
I watched
So the idea for my Aloha Apocalypse is. I am gonna, make it very obviously Austin, some other things, but Austin is the backdrop. Austin is almost a character in itself. Right. So Austinites want to look at it. And
I was just
so my girlfriend though. We go back to the lovely Miss Jessie Riley of Maven Maid Entertainment. She gave me the idea. Well, not really so much the idea. I was sort of like hinting at it, and she like grabbed on. But like it was. She manages all these bands. She's a booking agent, and like a lot of these fans, you know, I mean, say they have 1,000, 2,000 fans on Facebook. She's like, well, if you not only use their music in your movie, but maybe even give them cameos in the movie, then all of their fans are gonna want to watch it. And then if you get them behind it, I mean, if you can get Wild Bill and the Lost Knob, you know, if you can get 100 of their fans to each donate $10, that's $1,000. That's half the budget of one of my episodes, and this was her idea. I mean, I was sort of like hinting at it. I didn't want to like, presume that she would just like help me out in that way. But she like instantly, as soon as I was like talking about it, she was like, "Yeah, we got all these people in it."
Okay, there you go.
You know.
Now look, we know that $5,000 realistically is nothing. You can't make a feature of that.
You could. It depends on the type of feature you want to make. Look at the puffy chair.
I know, dude. That's crazy.
What's a puffy chair?
Duplass, Mr. Duplass. He's in that show. What's that show called? The League. But he's from Austin originally. He's out in LA now, like
the puffy chair. It was a film that was done here in Austin.
Yeah, they shot it on like a fucking like VHS quality, like yeah, like I mean,
better than this camera.
2006.
It was a feature.
It was a feature film, and it was a road movie too. So they drove from Texas out to Atlanta. They were trying. The whole idea was these two brothers. Like, odd couple brothers, and then the girlfriend in the middle of one of the brothers drove this puffy chair they wanted to give to their dad for their birthday, but it was like all about their bonding and their like
It's a trial.
trials and tribulations along the way.
So basically, you know, depending on what the movie's about, as far as if there's no special effects, if it's just character driven, if it's just a story.
That's the whole thing. It's like when I wrote Aloha Apocalypse, for instance, I kept in mind of like my resources and what I had at my disposal.
Yeah.
Now, if the sky was the fucking limit and I had fucking millions of dollars, you know, then I could have wrote it a completely different way, and I would have, as a matter of fact. But the fact that I knew that I had very, very, very limited resources, it made me write it in a practical way, to where there were some challenges, but it was in a very realistic way, a very practical way, like where I have like very few locations, very few characters, to where it could be done for $2,000 or less an episode. You know what I mean? And so if I had $5,000, and somebody gave me $5,000 to make a feature,
Hookers and blow.
I would then
Hookers and blow.
Write a feature that could be made on $5,000. You know what I mean?
You adjust to that.
I could make a feature for $5,000, but I would write it strategically in a way that would be very minimalist. It would be very character driven. It would be very like simple, limited. You know, very limited to nil special effects. But if you gave me $5,000, I would then write a feature that could be done for $5,000 or less. And when I say that, that means it would have 1, 2, maybe 3 locations. It'd be very simple. It'd be more about jokes and character development and acting and the writing. It wouldn't revolve around you know, special effects, gore, action,
explosions, and
it would be more. Yeah, it would, although I didn't know a lot of that in my vampire thing. But you can't make. I mean, that was the thing. Is like I was watching all these vampire movies lately, and it was like.
Research.
They've become so trendy that I was like, you know what? I had this idea for this vampire thing. I was like, I'm not even gonna do it. If they're so trendy right now, it's like, why would I want to do? You know, because I'm a hipster like that. Why would I want to do something trendy? But I watched all the Twilight movies, and they infuriated me so bad that I was like, I have to bring the vampires back to the shadows, man, back to the darkness, back to the snarling beasts of the night, and not mindless, if you will, but like they're not. They don't sparkle in the fucking daytime. The daytime kills them. Okay, they don't play baseball with the family on a cloudy day in a fucking field playing Superman baseball.
So they would actually be out like right now because there's.
Yeah, they could be out there. They'd be sparkling and playing baseball with their socks below the up.
I think
fucking trash, just terrible movies, and it actually inspired me. It inspired
Revenge.
me. It inspired me. Like, no, I have to like make
this kind
vampires monsters again. Like these, you know.
Yeah, we're coming close to also to you gotta take off. But what was it? The thing I was gonna come for now. There's
Going to work drunk. But that's how I had to go to work. When I first started waiting tables, I'm such an introvert that the only way that I could go up to strangers and be like, "Hey, everybody," was to be drunk. And then once I mastered the art form, I didn't have to be drunk anymore, and I could.
Oh, good.
Go up to them. But today,
you're really concerned about that.
But today,
you're like, oh, good.
I'm not actually going to work. That was a lie, everybody. Everybody has a day off. I'm going to a barbecue.
It's okay to go to work drunk, just don't drink and drive.
I don't ever drink and drive anymore.
That's wrong.
Most people can't drive drunk because they don't learn to drive drunk, though. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Just kidding, kids. Don't drive drunk.
No.
It's a terrible thing.
So you think
there she is, right there, everybody.
ready to go? You ready to take off? Or?
Yeah.
No, let's talk a little bit more.
You sure?
Yeah, we'll talk for 5 more minutes.
Okay, 5 more minutes.
What do you guys want to know about Aaron Quinn Haskins?
Dude, I really like your name is Aaron Quinn. I mean, when I call you on the phone.
My dad actually wanted to name me Quinn Dillon after Bob Dylan and the Mighty Quinn were his like favorite things at the time, but my mom wouldn't have it. So they actually drew my name out of a hat because they were expecting me to be a girl. I can't remember the girl. I guess what's it called? What's it called when they put the thing up to your tummy?
There's no penis.
The sonogram. Yeah. I guess like my penis was so tiny They thought I was going to be a girl. So they had some girl name planned out. They had all these girl clothes like bought and everything.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, but I came out and I was a boy, and they were
whoa,
like,
we weren't expecting this.
yeah. So like they put a bunch of names into a hat and they drew Aaron Quinn. My dad wanted me to be named Quinn Dillon, which I feel like if my name was Quinn Dillon, I'd already be famous. Like that's a power name right there, right?
Yeah,
Quinn
it is.
Dillon. And I would have just dropped off the Haskins, but Aaron Quinn, it's kind of catchy. But Aaron Quinn Haskins, that's my stage name.
Sounds kind of rednecky. No, I'm just
It is. I come from white trash. I'm not ashamed of it. I think I'm the first Haskins to ever go to college. To be honest with you.
That's pretty cool. No, when I call your phone, you don't answer, and he's like, when you see your full name, I just can't stop. I laugh because it's just like that's fucking awesome. You're actually proud of your name.
I introduced myself to everybody as Aaron Quinn Haskins. There was a friend of mine, Allison. She's like, everybody we were talking about like nicknames and this, that, and everything, and she's like, no, your nickname is Aaron Quinn Haskins. Like, yeah. She's like, no, you don't get a nickname. Your nickname is Aaron Quinn Haskins. And I was like, you know what? I love that. I'm just gonna go by that from now on, because I would always introduce myself as Aaron Quinn Haskins. Like I'd meet people at a party, at a bar. I'd be like, Aaron Quinn Haskins.
They're like,
Aaron Quinn Haskins. I'd be like, no, Aaron Quinn Haskins. They're like, yeah, Aaron Quinn Haskins. I'm like, no.
What?
Aaron Quinn. I'd just be fucking with people, like making them say Aaron Quinn Haskins. You do not forget Aaron Quinn Haskins, everybody. You do not forget Aaron Quinn Haskins.
Yeah, having a cool name is
I don't know if it's that cool, but that's my name.
No, I think it's a cool.
I'm
it's a
wear
cool
it out,
name.
baby.
No, I like it.
I'm gonna wear it out.
That's funny.
What else, man? What else do you guys want to know about me? This is a terrible
blood
episode.
type,
I apologize.
blood type, and
I forgot my blood type. I forgot my blood type. And I'm not a donor.
Is there anything you wanted to know?
Is your penis still small?
No.
It's very small. You're gonna ask.
We thought it was a girl.
He
So
still
the
is.
sonogram, they were cheating.
No, I mean I was making jokes. They thought I was gonna be a girl. I make that joke that my dick must have been so small that they thought I was gonna be a girl. Like I don't know. I never had any complaints about my penis. I mean, oftentimes.
Let's call her and ask her.
Girl, let's call her up.
Let's call Jessie over and ask her.
We gotta hook it up. I'm told it's a good size because girls they say if it's too big they don't like slobbing on it, but mine's just right because it doesn't.
Remember the whole. It's like the whole. We were doing Mighty Men, and you kept wanting to talk about your dick, and it's like
my dick. Enough of the dick talk.
Because of the dick, and it's like no, enough of the dick talk.
My name is Aaron Quinn Haskins. I have a tiny dick, and you know what I'm pissed off about is I don't have my foreskin. That was taken against my will without as a child. I feel like I'm missing out on something. Maybe I didn't have a choice. Like there could be so much more.
It's actually more hygienic to do that.
Yeah, they say that, but
no, it's true.
All you gotta do is flip it back and scrub it a little bit.
No. It's a proven
We're
fact.
ending this on a fucking no.
Oh, awesome! Get you drunk. This is awesome.
Ooh, ha, 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 ha.
So this concludes our first victim. Guest. To losers talking to losers.
Losers. I was born to lose, baby. I was born to win. You can't do one without the other. That's the moral of the story, right?
Yeah.
You gotta fail to learn to become successful.
It's a life of
And
failure.
even if I never become successful, at least I had fun doing it.
No, but we're not. You're not. We have all our limbs. We're not. We have a place to live.
Yeah.
We're not losers. I'm just.
We are.
Well, we are.
Losers. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
It's okay. It's okay to be a loser. It's okay. And you got one viewer that's watching this. You're a loser too. That's it.
That's it.
Hey, remember, baby.
You're next.
You can't lose.
Yes. What do you mean you're next?
No, we'll get somebody else.
No, you're next.
Why are you saying
next.
us?
We're gonna interview you next.
Hold off for a while.
No. And we should redo this interview.
We're not redoing nothing. It's going as is. There's no editing.
Say bye. Bye.
Bye, Austin, Texas, America.